Okay, so get this. AI that can like create data. It's like virtual focus groups.
Yeah.
It's wild. This is synthetic data,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
And it's everywhere in market research now.
Yeah.
Some are saying it's like the next big thing, and others are saying, slow down.
Right.
So you're new to market research. Let's unpack this whole thing.
Yeah, let's break it down.
Like, what is it? What can it do? What can't it do? And like, why is everyone making a fuss about it?
Right.
And we've got some great insights from some big names.
Yeah.
Dynata, Ipsos, Kantar, NIQ. So
It's going to be a good one.
yeah, let's dive in.
So it is pretty wild to think about.
Yeah.
Like you said, synthetic data is, at its core, artificially generated information that's designed to mimic real consumer responses and behaviors.
Okay.
So we're talking about data that looks and acts like the real deal, but it was actually, made up by an algorithm.
Okay, so it's like having a robot focus group.
Yeah.
Right at your fingertips. But hold on, didn't Dynata say that like market research has been using similar techniques for a while now?
They did, yeah. Don Simons from Dynata pointed out that like filling in missing data points or creating like what if scenarios,
Right.
That's been around for a while.
Yeah.
Synthetic data is essentially building on those existing methods.
Okay.
But it's the advancement in AI and large language models, or LLMs, that are really pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
Got it. So it's not like totally out of the blue.
Right.
But it's definitely gotten like a major upgrade.
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's talk about why people are so hyped about it. So Kantar and NIQ are saying that synthetic data could make research way faster and cheaper. Like, imagine getting results in like a matter of days instead of like weeks or even months.
Yeah, exactly. Think about it. Traditional research, it can be a slow and expensive process. You have to recruit participants, conduct surveys, then analyze all that data. With synthetic data, you could potentially skip a lot of those steps and get results much quicker.
Right.
And that would be a game changer, especially for smaller companies or projects with tight deadlines.
Right. Especially like for someone just starting out in market research, that speed could be like incredibly valuable.
Oh, absolutely.
And Dynata also mentioned that synthetic data could help us understand those like really niche markets.
Yeah.
Right? Like imagine you want to study the buying habits of like left-handed underwater basket weavers who only shop on Tuesdays.
Sure.
Okay, maybe that's a little extreme, but you get the idea.
You get the idea. And they're right.
Yeah.
Finding those super specific consumers can be like finding a needle in a haystack. Synthetic data can help fill in those gaps.
Yeah.
And provide insights into, those hard to reach segments.
Okay.
So say you're researching a very specific demographic, maybe young adults interested in sustainable fashion in a particular city. Finding enough of them for a traditional study could be a real challenge.
Right.
But synthetic data could potentially bridge that gap.
Okay, this is all starting to click for me. So we've got faster results, cost savings, and the ability to reach niche markets.
Yeah.
Are there any other like big advantages we should know about?
There are. Kantar talks about how synthetic data can actually enhance the data you already have.
Okay.
They call it predictive augmentation. Imagine you've got data from a survey, but you realize you wish you'd asked a couple more questions. Predictive augmentation could actually use synthetic data to try and fill in those blanks based on the information you already have.
Whoa.
It's almost like having a time machine for your data.
That's amazing. It's like getting like bonus insights.
Right.
From data you've already collected. Okay, so you're telling me synthetic data can speed things up, save money, help us reach niche markets, and even make our existing data more robust. It almost sounds too good to be true.
Well, like with any new technology, there are some caveats.
Yep.
And that's what we'll be exploring next.
So let's talk about the potential downsides of synthetic data.
Right.
What are some things I should be aware of,
Yeah.
as a newbie in market research?
Yeah, that's a smart question. While the possibilities with synthetic data are really exciting, it's important to remember that it's still a developing technology.
Okay.
And one thing that Ipsos really emphasized is the importance of not relying too heavily on synthetic data. It's not meant to, completely replace real human insights.
Okay.
At least not yet.
So it's more like a powerful addition
Yeah.
to the toolkit.
Yeah.
Not a total replacement for everything else.
Exactly. Think of it like this. In the early days of self-driving cars,
Yeah.
everyone thought they'd be zooming around without drivers in no time.
Right.
But the reality is that the technology still needs some fine-tuning before it's ready to take the wheel completely.
Okay, that's a good analogy.
Okay.
So what are some other potential pitfalls I should be aware of?
Well, one thing that both Kantar and NIQ highlighted is the importance of the data. That's used to train those synthetic data models.
Okay.
If you're using bad data,
Yeah.
you're going to get bad results, even with the most sophisticated AI.
Right.
It's kind of like trying to bake a cake with expired ingredients. You're not going to end up with something delicious.
Right. Garbage in, garbage out, as they say.
Exactly.
Okay. That makes sense. What about staying up to date?
Yes.
Is that something to be mindful of with synthetic data?
Absolutely. NIQ particularly stressed how crucial it is to use up-to-date data to reflect current consumer trends.
Right.
Think about how much consumer behavior has changed just in the past few years. The rise of social media, the shift to online shopping, the whole world practically moving online during the pandemic.
Totally.
If you're using data that's even a year or two old,
Right.
your insights could be way off the mark.
Wow. I hadn't really considered that, but you're right. Consumer preferences are constantly changing. Yeah. So the data feeding these synthetic models needs to keep pace.
It does.
So how can someone like me, who's new to all this, know what to look for when choosing a synthetic data provider?
That's where those key questions from Ipsos come in handy.
Okay.
They really advocate for transparency.
Okay.
You need to know where their data comes from, how they train their models, and what safeguards they have in place to ensure accuracy.
So don't just take their word for it.
Yeah.
Do your homework and make sure they're legit.
Precisely. It's like choosing any other research partner.
Right.
You wouldn't just hand over your project to the first company that promises, like, amazing result without checking their credentials.
Right.
It's the same with synthetic data. You need to make sure you're working with a reputable provider who uses high-quality data and has a robust methodology.
Okay, I'm definitely getting the sense that, like, due diligence is critical here.
It is.
What are some red flags I should be watching out for?
A big one is any company that claims their synthetic data can, like, completely replace real human insights.
Right.
As we discussed, it's a fantastic tool.
Yeah.
But it's not a magic bullet.
Okay.
A healthy dose of skepticism is always a good thing, especially when a company is making, like, grand promises.
Right. Got it. So if someone's promising the moon and the stars, it's probably a good idea to dig a little deeper and see what's really going on. What else should I be on the lookout for?
Pay attention to how they talk about their data sources.
Okay.
Are they transparent about where the data comes from? Do they have strong procedures in place to ensure data quality and make sure it represents, a diverse range of perspectives?
Yeah.
Transparency is key.
So they should be able to, like, clearly explain their data sources.
Yes.
And how they make sure it's, like, high quality and relevant to the research at hand.
Absolutely.
What about validating the results?
Right.
How can I be sure the insights from synthetic data are actually accurate?
That's a great point. Look for providers who can back up their claims with real-world examples.
Okay.
Do they have case studies? Or examples of how their synthetic data models have been successfully used in real research projects? Can they show you evidence that their approach actually works?
So essentially, I should be treating synthetic data with the same level of scrutiny as any other research methodology.
You got it. It's a powerful tool, but it's only as good as the data that's behind it.
Right.
And the people who are using it.
Okay. I'm starting to see the whole picture here. Synthetic data is definitely a fascinating and complex topic.
It is.
It's got incredible potential.
Yeah.
But also comes with some real challenges. But let's shift gears for a moment and talk about some of the really cool ways synthetic data is being used in market research right now. So NIQ was particularly excited about how it's being used for concept testing.
Yeah.
So what is that all about?
It is a really interesting application. Imagine you're a company developing a new product. Traditionally, you'd have to spend a lot of time and money conducting focus groups and surveys to get feedback on your ideas. But with synthetic data, you could potentially test out different product concepts much quicker and more affordably.
So you could see, like, how consumers might react to different, like, features or designs.
Yeah.
Or even, like, marketing messages.
Yeah.
Before you've even, like, built a physical prototype.
Exactly. And that could significantly speed up the innovation process and help companies bring new products to market much faster.
That's a huge advantage.
It is.
In today's, like, fast-paced business world.
Absolutely.
But how do we know those synthetic responses are reliable? I mean, can they really give us the same level of insight as feedback from real people?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Right.
And that's why NIQ emphasizes the importance of not only using up-to-date data,
Okay.
but also validating the results.
Oh, yeah.
It's not just about generating data.
Yeah.
It's about making sure that data actually reflects real-world consumer behavior.
So it's a two-pronged approach.
Yes.
You need to use high-quality, current data.
Right.
And then you need to validate those results to make sure they're actually meaningful.
Exactly. It's a symbiotic relationship.
Okay.
And just like with any research method, there are best practices to follow.
Okay.
NIQ outlined some key things to look for in a synthetic data provider, emphasizing transparency and validation.
Got it. So this is making a lot of sense. It's not about, like, blindly trusting the technology.
Right.
But rather understanding its strengths and limitations and using it strategically alongside other research methods.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And for someone like you who's just starting out in market research,
Yeah.
I think the most important thing is to be curious.
Okay.
Ask questions.
Yeah.
And be open to exploring new approaches.
That sounds like good advice for anyone in any field, really.
True.
But it's especially relevant in a field like market research, which is, like, constantly evolving.
Absolutely. The landscape is changing so quickly with all the advancements in technology. It's an exciting time to be in market research, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But it's also a time to be discerning and thoughtful about the tools and techniques we're using.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into synthetic data, what's the biggest takeaway for our listener who's just starting their journey in the market research world?
Well, I think the biggest takeaway is that synthetic data can, like, really shake things up in market research.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, it's a powerful tool that can help us get those insights faster, more affordably.
Yeah.
And from those hard-to-reach audiences.
It can.
But it's not like a magic solution
Right.
that's going to, replace everything we know about market research.
Exactly.
It's got its strengths and weaknesses, just like any other research method.
It does, yeah.
So I guess for someone just starting out, the key is to, like, be aware of the possibilities, but also approach it with a critical eye.
Don't be afraid to, like, ask questions. Do your research,
Yeah, definitely.
Make sure you're working with reputable providers.
Absolutely. And I think it's important to remember that market research is ultimately about understanding people.
Yeah.
Whether you're using traditional methods or the latest AI technology.
Right.
The goal is to gain insights into human behavior.
Yeah.
Motivations. Needs.
And that human element is something that, like, even the most sophisticated AI can't fully replicate.
They can't. No. Machines can analyze data and identify patterns.
Yeah.
But they can't truly grasp the nuances of human emotion,
Right.
the complexities of decision-making,
Right.
or the cultural and social factors that shape our choices.
So it sounds like the future of market research is like a collaborative one, where human expertise and artificial intelligence work together to, unlock those even deeper insights.
I think that's a great way to put it. It's not, human versus machine. It's about finding the right balance
between the two.
Yeah.
And for someone new to the field, this is an incredibly exciting time to be getting involved.
It's a bit daunting.
Yeah.
But also incredibly exciting, to be entering a field that's at the forefront of, like, innovation.
For sure.
There's so much potential for discovery and for making a real impact.
Absolutely. And remember, even the most experienced researchers are still learning and adapting to these new technologies. It's a continuous journey of exploration and experimentation.
It's reassuring to know that, like, everyone is figuring this out together.
Totally.
It's not about, like, having all the answers right now.
Right.
But rather having the curiosity and the willingness to learn and evolve.
That's the spirit of market research. It's about asking questions.
Yeah.
Challenging assumptions.
Yeah.
And constantly seeking a deeper understanding of the consumer.
And with synthetic data, we have this new tool in our arsenal
to help us do just that. But as we've learned today, it's not a magic wand. It's a tool that requires careful consideration, ethical development, and responsible use.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into the world of synthetic data, I want to leave our listener with one final thought.
Okay.
Embrace the possibilities, stay curious, and never stop learning. The future of market research is bright, and you're just getting started.
Well said. And until next time, happy researching.